Hey there, welcome to my channel. So if you're just starting out in Roblox Studio and you want a guide or a friend to guide you throughout your
exciting adventure journey
in Lua scripting and coding in general, and you're just starting out as a game developer, and
You want to make your dream game, maybe even?
so I'll be your help. I'll help you out to get the basics of scripting throughout a series of videos, okay? So the videos will be a little bit long and maybe slow paced, maybe. Why? Because I want to explain every detail and the tips and tricks that I want to share with you guys. Like, I have a lot of things to share with you, like from my 4 years of experience with Roblox Studio and Lua. I really enjoyed the process. Of course, I'm going to be honest. The game development sometimes could be really frustrating, especially when you don't find anyone to help you out. So it can be frustrating sometimes, but really, when you create your first game or your first code, at least up and running without any error, you just feel like some kind of dopamine going up into your head. It drives you crazy. So let's just start right in. I'll go into the base plate. And so we're creating a new base plate, an empty base plate. I'm not going to cover anything about Roblox right now, at least. By the way, make sure to share with me your opinions, feedback, and comments and suggestions down below in the comments, so I can know what you don't understand, what you want to understand, and what you want from this series, so I can fine-tune my tutorials and my explanation and my concepts to you, so you can understand and follow with me. So let's just dive right in. So first of all, let's go to the view tab right here, as you see, and then go to the Explorer, select the Explorer, toggle it, and properties, and the output. Okay, so if you're just starting out, you probably won't have the windows here, right? Probably, maybe, I think you have the output right here or something like that. But anyway, I'm putting all the windows, as you see here, the Explorer, the properties, and the output, the three windows that I want here, and I'm placing them in one dock GUI, so I can actually have the whole screen for me to code
With my eyes just good, and
the text is big and you can see it clearly. So server script service. Okay, so this is a service, so we're going to add our first script into this little game. Well, this is not really a game, but a test place where we can test our codes. Okay, so I'll do just Control A to select all, and I'll just delete for now. Okay, so first of all, I'll start by the print statement, or print function. Actually, as you see, it's the one that was printed there, but I don't want to start actually by printing hello world, but instead let's just go with something pretty basic. I'll start with numbers. Okay, so basically a print function, you just type in like this, okay, and then you open the parentheses, and here you go, you have your function. Okay, you can just run your game or right away. Okay, so, and here I'm going to go to the output, and as you see, well, nothing really printed here. Just ignore this. This is just for a plugin. Actually, it's not from our script, but our script, as you see, it just printed here some kind of empty space, as you see. All right, anyway, now let's just try to print some numbers on. Now let's start. So you just type in a random number from your own, like just a random number inside this parentheses. Okay, and let's just run. And as you see, it got printed here. So this is the output window, of course, by the way, and it got printed. So anything you pass in through or to this function that is called print, because this is called the function, okay, because it have a name which is print, okay, and we call it by using this parentheses, and inside this parentheses we put some parameters. You can think about parameters as like some kind of maybe input or settings or config or something like that, well, you're going to understand this like better later on, but for now just bear with me. And so yeah, now we printed a number into the console, or actually into the output. Okay, now what about operations? So scripting languages or programming languages also support operators. And so yeah, let's just do plus some kind of random number again, and here we go, we got the sum of that number. Like, so what it does, it just going to print this function. Well, actually not print, but yeah, I call this function that is called print. It's going to pass as a parameter this operation. Well, now Lua will come here and it won't find a number, it will find here an operation. So what it is going to do, it's going to actually solve this or calculate this operation, and it's going to print it for you, which is what it does here. Okay, great. Now there isn't just plus, there's also minus, multiplication, and division. Okay, and here you go, you run. By the way, if you don't find this run here, or just click this this arrow here that is pointing down, okay, and then you run, and as you see, here we go. So anyway, now by the way, this operation actually respects mathematical standards, so it starts by division and multiplication, then and parentheses. Of course, you can do actually parentheses, something like this, you know. And as you see, we have like another number really. So yeah, so it starts by parentheses, the things that is inside parentheses, and then it goes to multiplication and division, and then it goes into the normal operators like plus and minus, which is addition and subtraction. Anyway, so that's just a quick overview of operations really. There is more operations in Lua, but for now this is sufficient and enough. So yeah, now next thing is that we want to create, or actually print, a text into the screen, like into the output. Okay, so let's do it. So let's print, for example, hello world, I'm a new developer. Okay, so let's just run this and let's see what's gonna happen. Alright, we got our first error here. Okay, so server script service dot script 1. Well, this is server script service. Okay, where is the server script service? Here it is. And what else? Dot script. So inside this server script service, there is a child called script. Okay, let's see, we have chat service runner, and here we go, we have script. Here it is. So okay, let's continue reading this error. Okay, so here we have 1, which is line, or the code line that the error is happening there, and a message expected, close parentheses to close, open parentheses, a column 6 got world. Okay, let's go into the script, and at line 1, of course, we have just 1 line, so there's nothing to worry about. Okay, also you should notice that there is some kind of line here, so I'm just going to stop the game first of all, and here you go, we have. Okay, so what's going on here is actually simple. If we want to print a text, we don't use this kind of method. Okay, so we need to add some special characters or symbols, which is quotation marks or speech marks. Okay, so in the beginning of the string or the text that we have, and at its end. Okay, great. Now this is a valid string or valid text. Okay, let's run this, and here we go. Hello world, I'm a new developer. Great. Now, by the way, I think you heard me telling that this is actually a string, okay? Because this is a string, really. Why we call it a string? Well, by the way, first of all, this is a comment, okay? So you start by 2 hyphens. What is a comment? Well, simply the script or the Lua interpreter will completely ignore this, okay? Will completely ignore the line 3 because it's a comment. So what a comment is made for, it's just for humans. So for example, if you want to make some notes about some kind of code that you're going to write here, for example, okay, so you can just do it here. So for example, anyway, so we have here a string, okay? Great. Now what we should know is that the compiler, or actually not the compiler, well, the interpreter will ignore completely this. What is the interpreter? Well, simply it's just Lua executor. Well, it's just the one that is responsible to execute the code, okay? That's what it is. Anyway, now string. Why it's called a string? Because it's a string of characters. It's a set of ordered characters. It's like in a chain, okay? So something like this, okay? Hello. So something like that. So this is like equal to this, okay? Not really equal in Lua, but yeah, you guessed it, like just in the concept. So we have here some kind of chain or ordered list, or an ordered set of characters that makes up a string. So that's it, really. Okay, anyway, now that we know what is this, great. Now let's just run again. So here we go again. Hello world, I'm a new developer. Anyway, now what about adding another parameter into here? So let's add a comma, okay? And maybe let's add 20. Maybe? Let's run. And here we go. Hello world, I'm a new developer, 20. 2020. Let's just continue 2020 anyway. And here we go. Hello world, I'm a new developer, 2020. Anyway, now we're going to see a new thing, which is variables. So this is
Like, on your entire journey in game development, you're going to use these variables all around.
there's no script that, like, almost no script that you're not going to use any variables. And if you don't use variables, really, probably, if not, your code is just a mess, or even not functioning, who knows. Well, anyway, now just erase this, okay? And let's start by creating our first variable. Now, our first variable, let's call it name, equal to, and an assignment operator, as you see here, which is equal, name equal to, and then we're going to pass in a string or text. For example, Elias, because my name, of course, is Elias.
Nice to meet you.
Anyway, now let's have the age equal to and 17, for example, okay? Now, what's going on here? Now, like, maybe, I'm not sure, like, this actually seems simple, and I think even if I wasn't a developer, I'm going to understand this, but in any way, so simply, I'm getting this variable, I'm calling it name, okay? So you can think of a variable just like a box, you know, where you place, like where you call that box something, and then you place inside it something, right? And then you can open up that box by its name later on, so something like that, okay? So we have name equal to Elias, so we're creating a variable called name, and then we're assigning the value, or the string actually, which its content, it's Elias, okay, as you see here. Now also I have another variable which its name is age, okay? And of course, by the way, make sure that you notice the that this is an uppercase letter, okay? Because this age like that and age like this is totally different thing, okay? Totally different story. I mean, this is a variable called this, and this is another variable called this, because really machines are strict in their work. Like, this is pretty much different from this, not like us, where it doesn't really make any kind of barely doesn't make any difference really. So anyway, we have these two variables. Now, how we can use these variables? Well, let's just do print. So we're going to use the function, our old friend, well, not old friend, we just met him just like I think 15 minutes, well, 10 minutes ago I think. But anyway, print, and let's print first of all my name. Okay, so I just passed in name here, and let's see what's gonna happen. I passed in the name variable as a parameter to the print function, and as you see here, well, let me zoom in, and as you see, here we go, we have Elias printed out, which is the content or the value assigned to this specific variable, which is name. Okay, I think this should make sense for you probably. So let's print again another variable, which is age. Okay, and let's see what's gonna happen again. Of course, it's printed 17 because it's the value that is stored inside this age. Great. Now let's print a little bit more complicated example from this. Okay, so let's start by a simple string, I am. Okay, I am, and then I'll add a space there, or it doesn't really matter. No, we won't actually. And I'm going to add a comma so I can add another parameter, a second parameter, and I'm going to pass there the name. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I'm back here. I just paused for a little bit. Okay, so I am name, comma, of course, and then name. Okay, so I am Elias. I have, or I'm, and let's just add a comma there. Okay, I'm, and let's add a comma again, and let's add age. I'm age, comma, and I'll add another string, which is years old. Okay, so don't worry if you don't understand this. It will be clear in the next tutorials. Okay, so this is just a little example. Okay, so I have first of all the first parameter. So first of all, let's count actually how much parameters we have. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 5 parameters. The first parameter is a string, and its content I am. The second name, it's a variable with the name. Okay, so it's called name with name. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a variable called name. Anyway, and the third parameter is a string, I am, or I'm. And the third parameter is age, and the fifth is a string, and inside it years old. Okay, so I'll just delete these spaces because this print function actually what it does, it prints all of its parameters with a delimiter of a space. Okay, so it prints the first one, it adds a space, and it prints the second one, it adds a space again, and it prints the third one, adds a space, and to the next, and adds a space again, and to the next. And so let's see the result here. Well, run, and I am Elias, I'm 17 years old. So let's change these variables and let's see what's gonna happen. So for
example, PewDiePie, okay? And let me guess, maybe 30, I'm not sure really, but who cares?
Anyway, run, and I am PewDiePie, I'm 30 years old. Okay. So let's just do Control Z to undo what we had. And here we go, we're done. Okay, so here we initialized a variable. Okay, so we initialized some variables, one called name, and we given it the value of a string, which inside it Elias. Okay, and age, which is a variable that housed or contains a number which is 17 in this case, and here we created a little print function that just joins those stuff together so to make a meaningful sentence here. Now anyway, to just do something like, well, let's do something other, like maybe let's add another print. Okay, so name, for example. Okay, and let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so I'm Elias, I'm 17 years old, and again another print which is Elias, which is the variable name. Okay, now what if I came here before actually printing the line 6 or doing this one? Okay, we're going to do name equal to, and I'll set it to something else. Okay, so for example, let's say let's go with Jonas anyway, and let's see what's gonna happen. Let's run this, and I'm Elias, I'm 17 years old, Jonas. Well, here we're actually printing the name variable again, but what happened? Here in the line 5, we set the name, or we modified the name variable to contain Jonas instead of Elias. Okay, so that's what really happened there. And so when we printed the name here again, it just returned Elias instead of actually Jonas instead of Elias. So that what happened there, really. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to cover loops. Okay, so let's just start by a variable called count. Okay, equal to 0. And then what I'll do is while true do. Okay, and then I'll do count equal to count plus 1. And don't worry, I'll explain everything just in a second. So, and wait, and of course print count and wait, and let's see what's gonna happen. Run the game, and here we go, 0 1. Well, as you see, we have an incrementing number in the output, as you see. So that's what the code does, and it's still going on forever. Like it's going to stay like that forever. So instead of if we quit or stopped the game. Now let's just do wait 1 actually, because this is really moving so fast, so we can see what's going on here. Okay, so we have first 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and so on. Okay, so every second it increments the variable count with 1, and it prints the result of count. Okay, it prints the variable count. Okay, so here we are. So what true do, and so anything inside this block. Okay, so this is called the block because it's inside this block. Okay, so it started by while true do and it's ended by end. Okay, so this is a whole block. Alright, a block of code. So this block of code will just keep looping on forever, because here it's intended to be in a condition like something like this. Okay, so if count, for example, let's say local condition equal to, so if condition equal to true, like this, so if the condition is true, then we're going to keep looping. Okay, but this condition really will always stay true, as you see. Okay, but what if we do false? Okay, we set the condition that we passed here, okay, into false. What gonna happen? Well, of course nothing going to happen, because the condition is false, which means we won't actually run through this code. Let's just actually print here loop finished. Okay, and so we can know when the loop is finished. So as you see, the loop finished right away because the condition is false, which means, well, it's false, so we can't actually run this block. Okay, so we can't loop. Now if the condition is true, then we're just going to stay going on. Okay, now what if we want to so we want our script or our code to actually stay counting until it hits 10, then it's going to stop. Okay, so condition equal to count greater than, or actually, well, less than 10. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Okay, and let's wait until it passes 10 and see what's gonna happen. Okay, well, I should have actually set it to something minimal, but anyway. So why this doesn't work? Well, let's see what's happened here. So we're initializing a variable called count equal to 0, okay? And what we're doing here is local condition equal to count less than 10, okay? So it's going to check for the count. It's 0, okay? So 0 is less than 10, which means this will go and will convert into true, okay? Which means this loop will just run forever, and eventually we won't finish the loop, and we won't finish the script execution. So what if we actually want to check this count if it's less than 10, not just once, but every time we try to loop, and we check for that. So what I need to do is actually put this condition into here. So every time it loops, it's going to check for the condition if it's true or not. Okay, so just actually remove this line, because we're going to put the condition right away here, so it tests it every time the loop happens, not just once. Okay, so we have the count variable again, and we're checking every time the loop happens. We're checking if the count variable actually is less than 10 or not. If it's less than 10, then it's going to go into true, which means it's going to loop. If not, then of course we're just going to, it's going to be false, which means the loop will just end execution. So let's run and see what's gonna happen here. And loop finished, but before actually 10, before hitting 10. So if we want it to not to hit 10, then it's going to finish. So we're just going to do less or equal, okay, something like this. So less or equal, and then we're going to run. But actually I just don't want to actually wait again 10 seconds, so just go with it like 5. Okay, let's just run here. And let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and loop finished. So yeah, that's actually, this is called a while loop. It's essentially some kind of infinite loop. If the condition is always true, then it's going to be infinite until the game actually pauses or stops. Okay, so I'll end this part here, and hopefully I'll make it the second part and upload it maybe tomorrow or anytime sooner, as much as I can. So yeah, see you later on.